I want to start today with a word that carries a massive amount of cultural baggage.
Mm.
Hero.
Right.
When I throw that word out there, what's the immediate image that just flashes in your mind?
For most of us, it's cinema. It's high contrast, high stakes.
Right. It's the slow motion walk away from an explosion. It's the Marvel universe with the spandex and the laser eyes.
Or if you bring it back to reality, it's the 6 o'clock news.
Exactly. The firefighter emerging from the smoke or the soldier pulling a child from the rubble. We always associate heroism with adrenaline.
And visibility. I think that's the key component we've been conditioned to look for.
Visibility.
Yeah, we operate under this assumption that for an act to be heroic, it requires an audience. If there isn't a medal ceremony or at least a viral tweet about it, did it even count?
That is the exact question we are tackling today. We're doing a deep dive into a piece of writing called The Unseen Hero, The Power of Quiet Courage.
And it is a bit of a system shock.
It really is, because it completely dismantles that blockbuster definition.
It just creates an entirely different framework. The author's whole premise is that true heroism is, well, it's actually boring.
Boring.
It's invisible, it's often unthanked, and it happens in the dead silence of our daily routines. The argument is that the most significant battles aren't fought on a battlefield, but, in the grocery aisle or on a subway platform.
Which brings us to our mission for this deep dive. We're going to analyze two specific case studies from the text, the stories of Arun and Ria.
And look at the mechanics of what the author calls the ripple effect.
Yes. But I want to start with the atmosphere, because the text opens in a setting that I think every single person listening has experienced.
It's a subway station.
The subway station. It's early morning, it's cold, and the author spends a lot of time establishing the vibe of this place.
It's not just that people are there, it's that they are so disconnected.
It's that modern paradox, isn't it? You are physically crushed against strangers, but socially, you're miles apart.
The text describes everyone locked into their own private worlds.
Scrolling through emails, headphones on.
Avoiding eye contact at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a defensive bubble we all build.
I do it every single day. You put the headphones on, you look at the floor. It's a survival mechanism. But in the middle of this disconnect, we meet Arun. And what I really appreciate about the source material here is how hard it works to make Arun, well, unimpressive.
He is the definition of an everyman. The text explicitly states he was not special, he was not rich, he was not powerful.
He works in a small office. He makes coffee for his coworkers. He comes home tired. That little detail about the coffee really stuck with me.
Oh, me too.
It paints a picture of someone who is already in a posture of service, but in this very mundane background way.
He's the guy who refills the pot when it's empty and nobody even notices.
Exactly. He's part of the scenery. And that averageness is crucial, because if he were, say, a trained paramedic or an off-duty cop, the story loses its point.
Completely. He's just a guy standing on a platform, probably dreading his commute like everyone else.
Until the inciting incident. And again, this isn't an explosion. It's subtle.
So subtle.
Arun notices an elderly man near the edge of the platform.
And the details here are so sharp, but quiet. The shaking hands, the bag slipping off the shoulder. The man isn't screaming for help. He's just physically faltering.
And the sensory details ramp up. The sound of the incoming train gets louder. The wind picks up. Now, normally in a story like this, we'd skip straight to the rescue. But the analysis in the text points out something fascinating about Arun's internal monologue. He didn't just feel courage.
He felt fear.
He felt fear.
And that is the most honest part of the whole narrative. It touches on the bystander effect.
Right.
Sociologically, when we're in a crowd, we experience a diffusion of responsibility. We think someone else will handle this, someone more qualified. I don't want to make a scene.
That fear Arun feels isn't just about the train. It's the social fear of breaking the norm.
Of being the weirdo who steps out of line?
But the text describes this quiet voice inside him that cuts through that fear. And it just says,
do something.
Do something. That's it.
That's the pivot point. It's that tiny gap between empathy, feeling bad for the guy, and agency, which is actually moving your feet.
So let's talk about the action itself, because this is where the unseen hero concept really lands.
Okay.
Arun doesn't tackle the guy. He doesn't scream, "Look out."
No. If he had tackled him, it would have been a spectacle. It would have drawn attention.
Right. Instead, the text says he simply stepped forward, gently took the man's arm.
And said, "Sir, please stand here."
Sir, please stand here. It's so administrative.
It is. It's so polite, but it's incredibly grounding. By speaking calmly and using that gentle touch, he didn't just move the man's body. He snapped the man's mind back to reality. He anchored him.
And then what happens? The train comes, the doors open, people get on. The moment just evaporates.
No applause. No one else even noticed it happened.
And that's the unseen part. The crisis was averted so quietly that history didn't even record it as a crisis.
But the text gives us the aftermath from the old man's perspective, which I think is vital.
So vital.
The man later admits he felt dizzy. He might have fallen. But his reflection on the event isn't about physical safety. He doesn't say, "That man saved my life."
No, he says something much more profound. He says, "That touch saved my faith in people."
That's the line. The physical act was saving him from the train. The metaphysical act was saving him from isolation.
In that cold, disconnected station, for 1 second, he wasn't alone. Someone saw him.
It broke that bubble we talked about earlier.
Precisely. And that leads us directly into the second case study. The text shifts gears here. We move from the underground, high-stress subway to a residential street.
Snowy street.
Yeah, and this transition feels so deliberate. It's like the author is saying, okay, you don't take the subway, fine, this happens in your neighborhood too.
The setting changes, but the core conflict is exactly the same. Struggle amidst indifference.
You have an elderly woman, heavy grocery bags, an icy sidewalk, and you have the world just rushing past her, cars driving by, people hurrying to get out of the cold.
And here we meet Rhea. She's a young neighbor. She sees a woman struggling. Now, the standard nice person move here is to
Grab the bags, carry them to the porch, say have a nice day, and leave.
transactional kindness.
Yeah.
Here is the labor you require.
Right. But Rhea goes off script. She carries the bags, yes, but then she goes inside, she makes the woman tea.
She sits down. She listens to stories she's probably heard a dozen times before.
This is where the text elevates the definition of courage. I mean, carrying the bags requires physical effort, sitting and listening.
That requires emotional effort. It requires time, which is the one resource we are all hoarding.
And the dialogue here is just heartbreaking.
Hmm.
The elderly woman says to Rhea, "I thought no one cared anymore."
What a statement. It's an indictment of our modern social architecture. It shows how easy it is for vulnerable people to feel completely invisible.
And Rhea's response, I mean, this is just 2 words, but the text circles them in red, metaphorically speaking. She says, "We do."
Not I do.
No, we do.
That is a linguistic masterstroke. By saying we, Rhea is speaking on behalf of a community that hasn't actually shown up.
She's essentially lying, but it's a redemptive lie. She's projecting a version of the world where people do care, and by saying it, she makes it true for that woman in that moment.
She's restoring the social contract. She's saying, you are not an outlier. You are part of us.
And notice the quiet courage aspect here. Rhea didn't live stream this. She didn't post a selfie with the tea to show what a good person she is.
No, the text emphasizes that the only people who knew this happened were Rhea and the woman.
It's the opposite of that performative altruism we see so much of online. This wasn't content, it was connection.
And the analysis in the source suggests this act was fighting a different kind of enemy. Arun fought a physical danger, Rhea fought loneliness. And the text argues loneliness is the more pervasive threat.
So we have these 2 isolated incidents, a subway platform and a living room. If the text ended here, it would be a nice collection of heartwarming anecdotes.
But it doesn't end there.
No, it zooms out to introduce the mechanism.
The ripple effect.
Now, usually when I hear that phrase, I roll my eyes a little. It feels like a greeting card cliche. Smile and the world smiles with you.
Sure.
But the author treats this almost like a law of physics. It's grounded in sociology. We're social animals. We mimic behavior. It's social contagion.
Right. When we see cruelty, we tend to become defensive and cruel. But when we see or experience unexpected kindness, it breaks the pattern. It creates a permission structure to be kind ourselves.
The text uses that great metaphor of a candle, like one candle lighting another.
One flame doesn't lose anything by lighting a second flame. It just increases the total amount of light in the room.
And the source material actually traces the lineage of Rhea's and Aaron's actions. It lists the downstream effects.
Yeah, let's run through these because they're so specific.
Because of that initial spark of kindness, the text mentions a neighbor helping clear snow the next day.
A shopkeeper giving extra food to a struggling family without making a big deal of it.
And this one felt very modern. A student standing up for a classmate who was being bullied online.
That one is critical. Standing up to online bullying is terrifying. It's a digital coliseum. But the text implies that this student found the courage because they had witnessed or felt that ripple of we do.
It's the idea that courage is contagious.
Exactly. When you see someone break the norm of apathy, it wakes you up. It reminds you that you have agency. You aren't just an NPC in someone else's movie.
The text synthesizes this into a really powerful statement. These individual acts build safer mornings, lighter hearts, and stronger communities.
Lighter hearts. That is a beautiful metric for a society.
It really is. And it moves the conversation from heroism to habit. The text pivots here to refine what a hero actually is.
It democratizes the concept.
It does. It says the everyday battlefield isn't a war zone. The source lists where the battle is actually fought. It's in listening when you're bored or busy.
It's in speaking kindly when you are exhausted and just want to snap at someone.
That one hits home. Speaking kindly when anger is easy. That is a battlefield I die on frequently.
We all do. But the text frames that restraint as a form of courage. Helping without being asked. Choosing honesty when a small lie would be so much more convenient.
These are all micro decisions. The author calls heroism a quiet decision repeated every day. It's muscle memory.
Right. You don't just wake up on a Tuesday and decide to be a savior. You become the kind of person who saves someone on a subway platform because you've spent 10 years holding doors and making coffee and listening to stories. It's cumulative.
Which brings us to the most uncomfortable part of the text, in my opinion.
The you section.
The call to action, yes. It's uncomfortable because it removes all our excuses.
It really does.
I think a lot of us, myself included, have this narrative that I'll help when I have more money, or I'm just one person, what can I do?
I'm not strong enough to make a difference.
But the text just deconstructs all of that. It reminds us, so was Urim, so was Rhea. They were just one person. They weren't wealthy or powerful.
And the source material makes a bold claim here. You don't need strength. You need awareness.
That is the shift. The barrier to entry for heroism isn't capability, it's attention. Most of us aren't cruel, we're just distracted. We are sleepwalking.
The text challenges us to simply wake up. Look at the faces around you.
Who needs help? Who needs listening? Who is standing on the edge of the platform, literally or metaphorically?
It's a call to radical presence. To be a hero, according to this source, you don't need a cape. You just need to look up from your phone.
Be present. Be kind. Be brave in small ways.
And realize that the future isn't built by one big televised act. It's built by millions of these invisible threads woven together.
So we've unpacked the stories, the sociology of the ripple effect, and this redefined habit of courage. But as we close out, I want to leave you with one final thought that builds on this.
Let's hear it.
We've talked a lot about these acts being unseen and unthanked. And the text suggests the next unseen hero is listening right now. But let's take that to its logical extreme. If you do something truly heroic, something that costs you time or money or comfort, and you do it in a way that ensures no one ever knows, not even the person you helped.
The ultimate invisible act.
Exactly. If there is absolutely no external reward, no social credit, no reputation boost, no thank you, then the only witness to that act is you.
That's terrifying, in a way. It removes the ego entirely.
But it's also the ultimate test. The text hints at this, but I think the conclusion is that the audience for your life is essentially an audience of one. Perhaps the true definition of a hero isn't what you do when the world is watching. It's who you are when you are absolutely certain that no one will ever know what you did.
That's integrity in the dark.
Just you and your own character.
And that is where the real work happens.
It is. It's a short text, The Unseen Hero, but it definitely changes how I'm going to look at my commute tomorrow.
It makes the world feel a little more full of potential. Every stranger is a potential ally.
I love that. We hope this deep dive helped you feel a little more connected and maybe gave you a new lens to view your own daily routines. As the author says in the closing, take care and stay kind.
Stay kind.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.